In my today's session, I'm going to talk about exploratory data analysis. First, we need to understand what is exploratory data analysis. So, according to the Wikipedia, in statistics, exploratory data analysis is an approach to analyze dataset to summarize their main characteristics. Normally, we used visualization methods to understand the data. So what we are trying to see, given a data set, is there any information? You may see some information, but there could be possible that there could be inside, there could be hidden information available. So you need to extract that hidden information and you need to see the patterns out of it. So there are few steps in doing an EDA, and they are: first we need to understanding the features or the variables and what are the different types. When I say type, the type could be categorical or numerical, or it could be a string, or it could be a date. So, and the next one is creating the baseline matrix. Whenever we start our analysis, we need to know what are our baseline metrics. And then the next task is to do the univariate analysis. Inside univariate analysis, what we do is take a single feature individually and we plot them and we see is there any pattern inside. So how do we know that? We see the distribution of the variable and we see how the variable is aligned. And the next one is bivariate analysis. When I say bivariate analysis, it is about two variable. Seeing the relationship between two variable is called bivariate analysis. So normally what we do, we take a individual features and we analyze against the target variable and see is there any how this individual feature is impacting our target variable. Then the next one is how do we handle missing values. When you get a data set in real time, most of the time the data set is not complete. You will have null values or missing values or maybe some junk values. So you need to see how to treat the missing values. In general, numerical values are treated by mean and median. Categorical variables are treated with mode, but again these are very basic methods to impute the missing values. There are several advanced techniques available to handle missing values. However, in this session I am not going to touch base those techniques. If possible, I will cover the missing value alone in a separate video. The next one, what we are going to see is outlier treatment. Outlier is nothing but a add-man out. So what is means? You take any variable, let's say you take the income of a customer and you see the income range, most of the income range is between 10k to 40k, but there could be like a couple of customers who has more than 100k income. In this case, these two customers are outliers. So there are multiple ways to handle this outlier. Again, you have to talk to your domain people or subject matter expert to see how to handle this outliers. In some cases, we remove this outlier, but most of the cases there are various methodologies through which we handle the outliers. Again, it depends upon the data and the use case. So there is no one single method that will explain, that will explain the complete outlier methodology. Next one is the transformation of the variable. You have a variable, let's say you have a variable say called income, and income ranges between say 10k to 100k. So in most of the cases, it could be like a 10K, or it could be like 11K, or it could be 10, 12K, so on and so forth. So sometimes you may need to bin these values into a buckets. So bucketing them into different bin size is called as a transformation variable. But again, this is one type of transformation. There are several other ways. Like we can take any other example, like age is there. So you have a age is there, and you want to bin them into a, let's say, age between 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50. So that is again you are converting the numerical variable to categorical. In some cases, you have a categorical variable called, maybe say, the product ID and the customer ID. So you want to see how many products a customer bought. So what you normally do, so you group the product ID by the customer, and you get the count of the products the customer bought. So here in this case, we are converting the categorical variable into a numerical variable. This is also another type of transformation. And the next one is correlation analysis. Inside correlation analysis, you see how individual features are correlated with each other. So, when one variable increases, if the other variable is also increasing, the value of other variable is also increasing, that is called as a positive correlation. If one variable increase, the value of other variable decreases, then it is called negative correlation. If there are no change, it is called no correlation. So the correlation ranges between -1 to 1. So these are some of the basic steps that we perform in VDA.
Okay, let's look into this with the help of SweetWiz, how we can expedite our EDA task. We have seen all the steps in the EDA, like inputting missing value, outlier detection, and then how to do the variable transformation, everything. But even before doing that, first we need to understand how our features are distributed. So basically the features are categorical or numerical. In some cases it may be a date value. So let us look into the SweetWiz package and see how our variables are distributed. So to install the SweetWiz, you have to do pip install SweetWiz. And in this particular section, what I am doing is I am reading a CSV file from my Google Drive. So all this code, this everything is these two cells represents how to read the file CSV file from the Google Drive. Then I'm importing the some of the basic packages like pandas, numpy. On top of it, I'm also installing SweetWiz. So once I have this file, CSV file ready, I'm going to read the CSV file. In our case, we are going to use the telecom churn CSV file, which was downloaded from the UCI machine learning. You can go to UCI machine learning and you can download this file from there. Then what I'm doing here is I'm looking to the data and how the first 5 rows of the data set. So it gives me the information about account ID, account length, email messages, number of minutes a customer speak in a day, evening minutes, night minutes, international minutes. All this represent the call minutes. Then customer service call, whether the customer made any customer service call or not. And this churn is our target variable. And then we on top of it, we have all these other variables. Now let us look into the number of rows and the columns that we have. In our cases, we have about 3333 rows and 22 features. Now let us look into the column and their data type. So when I execute this command, I see that we have a mixed combination of data types. Some are integer, some are float, and some are object. So here the object data type is called categorical data type, whereas integer and float is our numerical data type. We also see we have the float data type. We have 8 float data types, 12 integer data type, and 2 object data type. And the total memory used by this data set is 573 KB. Pretty simple data set to understand the EDA in a clear fashion. Then I'm deriving the baseline metrics with the help of the describe command. So what I understand from here is, so on an account length is nothing but the customer, how long this customer is associated with us. So on an average, a customer is with us for the 101 months, and the maximum is we have 343 months. And look at the 50th percentile also. The 50th percentile also is 101 months, which means there is no outlier in this data set. When the mean and the 50th percentile are same or almost same, we can assume that we can be sure that whether there is an outlier or not. Then the email message, on an average, a customer is in this data set has about 8.09 messages sent, and the maximum is 51 message. And here you can see the 50th percentile is 0, which means not every customer is using the email message. Only few customer is sending the email messages, whereas most of the customer are not sending the email message. Then the day minutes. So we can see here on an average a customer is using about 3 hours in a day, 179 minutes 0.77, which is equal to 3 hours in a day, and the maximum he or she talks about 350 minutes, and here we can say it is 179.4. So we can be sure about that there is no outlier in this particular feature. And also, if you want to know whether there is a missing value or not, you can look at the count column here. If there are the total number of rows we have is 3333, and here also it says 3333. In case if there are any missing value, null value, you may see a lesser count here. Similarly, you can understand all these fields, and you can go through every field over here, and you can understand like what each data type, each feature is all about. Now the important part is to run the EDA, understand the EDA or the data set. I'm going to execute this only one single command. This is my EDA out is my object. SV is the object that I created above here. Let me scroll up and show it to you. You can see I created SweetWiz, import SweetWiz as SV. So this is the object that I created for that particular package. And then what I'm doing is I'm passing my data frame here, which consists of all the 22 features, and I'm also mentioning what is going to be my target variable here. So in this case, churn is my target variable. So I just given the churn as a target variable. I'm running this, executing this line, and you can see that within no time it does the feature, so feature wise EDA and also the pair wise EDA. And then it will also create an association graph with respect to the features, which is with respect to the target variable. And then once you run this, once you get this message called creating association graph done, you can assume that the EDA is ready for review. So and then you need to say EDA out.showHTML. You can see the report in a HTML format, and you can say show HTML, and you have to give the name of the HTML file. If you don't give any name of the HTML file, by default it will create sweetwiz_report.html. So if you want to give a name, you can pass a name over here, but this can also be empty. So I'm using a Google Colab here. So the problem with the Google Colab is it will not populate this EDA HTML automatically. So what you have to do is you have to go to the folder files section here, and you can find the EDA.html file over here. Let me close this. But in case you are using a Python notebook without the collab, the Jupyter notebook without the collab, this HTML file will pop up on the screen. Okay, so this is the report that is generated by this SweetWiz package. Let us look into this feature, the output one by one. The first one is our target variable churn. The moment you mouse over on this particular section, you can see the distribution of your churn. It will not show it only when you have the mouse cursor on top of it. It will show. If you want to make it fixed, you have to just click on this and then you can see. So you can see here there are about 250 customers who did not churn and there are about 443 customers who churned out. So the distribution is 86 versus 14. So we have a pretty good distribution over here, even though it is not balanced, but still 14% versus 86 is a good distribution. And there are 3,333 customers are there, out of which you can see 86% did not churn out and 14% churned out. Now let us look into the other one. The account ID does not make any sense. Let me take you to the next one called the account length. So the account length here, what it says is like the whatever you saw in the baseline metrics, that is what you will be able to see here with respect to the cut and skew and sum and other things. But some of these features are meaningful, some may not be that meaningful for you in this particular section. But what we want to see over here is how our data is distributed. You can see this is a pretty good bell curve distribution, like account length. You can have the number of customers are there there are about 3% of customer within the 0 to 25 months, and then you have about 26 to 50 months, which is about your 7.5 or 8 percentage customer, and you can see the pretty good distribution over here. And you can also see that what is the most frequent value and what is the smallest value on the right side. This package is pretty good, but the only problem is there is a scroll bar missing on the right side. So all you need to do is you need to, if you want to see everything, you need to scroll all the way down below, and then only you will be able to see this. But again, the author of this package, is in his GitHub, he mentioned that he's going to work on it and he's going to provide a scroll bar also there. So the work is in progress, and very in the next version of SweetWiz, all these issues will be fixed. But at this point of time, other than this is only a ignorable. I don't want to say bug, but the ignorable feature. It will be fixed very soon. So now let us look into the other features. So and the one more thing is when once you want to see something else, like you have to click back on the previously selected feature. Only then you will be able to select the other thing. So the email message says that, so most of the customers, see, as we discussed, like most of the customers did not send any messages in our baseline metrics. That is same was mentioned over here in a pictorial manner. And you can also see the most frequent value. The most frequent value is 0, and 31 customer is sent about 60 messages, and then 29 customers sent about 53 messages, and you can also see the percentage over here. Now let me click on this. Day minutes, again it says about that we have pretty good simple distribution over here, and you can see the most frequent value and the small value over here also here. Then let me take this evening minutes. Okay, I have to click on this and then the evening minutes. So distributions looks simple. And then international plan. Let me take this customer service call also. Okay, I have to click here and then I have to click on the customer service call. So there are about 38% of customer sorry, 35 customer who sent only one message, and you can see the maximum is about 8 messages, but predominantly it is either one or two, and there are customer about 20% of customer sent zero message, which is 697. So very easily you will understand this. And also the one more feature is like, you can see the, with respect to churn also, you have the top category as one, where you have about 1781 customer, which contributes to your 35% of your overall customer who sent one message, and among which you can see 122 customers churned out, which is contributing your 10%. And then you can also understand like there are about the customer who sent about two messages within a month. Let's assume that this is a 1 month data, which is, you can see 87 customer are churned out, which is here contributing 11%. And you can also see there is a customer who sent about five messages. They are churning out more, but again you can see the number of customers, the count is very less over here. There are about 166 customer and 66 customer. 66 customer who sent about 4 and 5 messages within a month, and which contributes to 46 and 61 percentage of your overall churn. But again, you have to look into the count also. The count is not that much. But this is a good indicator to look into the message also. This seems to be a very good feature to do a further analysis. Then now let us look into the international plan. So you can see that 90% of customer do not have this feature, international call feature. Only 10% of customer is having this feature. But the customer who is having the international call plan feature, are churning out more. You can see this is 42 versus 11. This seems to be a very good feature for our further analysis. So like this, you can look into the other features. Let's take any randomly take the day calls, number of calls made in the day. This seems to be like a little bit of okay, left skewed, but okay. And you have about the data about what you can understand from this. Like, let me scroll to the down and see. Okay, I don't see everything over here, but this is what it shows. We need to only when you have a scroll bar you'll be able to see. But you can see the distribution, how this distribution looks like. And then let's look into the state. Okay, I have to click on the day call again, and I have to come to the state. So we can see that there are about 51 distinct values in the state, and most of the states are like, this is again US state and not anywhere else. So most of the states are tagged as others, but the what we wanted to more interested on to look into is, we see about where we have more churn. So let us 25 percentage, but again there are 72 customers from the state called UT, which contributes to 2% of my overall data, out among which 10% customers churned out, which contributes to 14% of my overall churn. Similarly, in Texas area, TX area, we have 72 customers from Texas, which contributes to 2% of my overall customer, and then among which 18 percentage, uh, about 25% churned out. So you can look into the state also and see like if there are any problem with that particular Texas region or UT region, or maybe you can see MN region, where you have the more customer who is churning out. So this gives us a very good understanding about the data set. So similarly, you can go through everything and you will understand like how our feature is and what further transformation required, and which feature are important, which feature are not that important. And if you require any look into the skewness and other things, if you want to do any feature transformation and all, you will be able to do that with respect of this, uh, look into this graph very easily, rather than you going and plotting each and every graph one by one. So within a no time, within a minute or two, you will be able to generate this graph quickly, and you can take a further action based on the output. Thank you.